If it's Monday night, oh yes, it is the Wrestling Forum. Hello, friends. It's ridiculously over. Anthony Flair here with you once again for another exciting edition of the Wrestling Forum, joined by my esteemed colleagues, the Cerebral Viper Michael Fletcher and the Phenom Michael Bullock. Monday Night Raw is the game tonight, and well, we put them on notice, and well, did they deliver? Are we gonna have? Are the three of us gonna boycott this show? Well, just hang on, just hang in, and we'll let you know. So, all right. Monday Night Raw was live tonight from the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. So let's dive right in. Opening segment of the night, it was the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar and his advocate Paul Heyman, basically starting to promote the Hell in a Cell match with The Undertaker at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view on the 25th of this month. Interrupted by the Big Show, and then, well, Brock Lesnar took the Big Show to Suplex City and then delivered an F5. So, thoughts on this? Well, segment of the night, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, this was a really good segment here. I mean, Paul Heyman, everybody knows, anytime that man speaks, we listen. And, well, he delivered once again. And the live crowd ate it up. I mean, it was an IWC crowd, for goodness sakes, because Boston is one of the IWC capitals of the world. But, yes, Heyman delivers one more time. Can't say I'm surprised. We all knew that was going to happen. And then, of course, Big Show comes out, gets the big heat, the big heel he is, everybody knows. And then, well, basically says, well, hey, Lesnar, I hope when you face The Undertaker, I hope you lose. And he before that, Lesnar tried to, Big Show offered his hand to Lesnar. And then Lesnar, with a Cheshire cat-like grin on his face, said, you got to be kidding me. And then he walked away. And that's what prompted Big Show to do that. And then Lesnar, well, had enough and took him to Suplex City, drops him with an F5, a couple of F5s. So yes. But Paul Heyman, though, he's the one who made this segment the segment of the night, recapping the illustrious history of The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. Of course, WrestleMania 30, where Lesnar broke the streak, and then, of course, that controversial finish at SummerSlam. So that was basically pretty much it. So, segment of the night for my taste. I'm not going to go any further into this. So with that said, Phenom, Michael Bullock, long time no talk to. Let's get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, long time no talk. Yeah, and of course, hello friends. This is the Phenom, Mike Bullock here for another edition of the Wrestling Forum. Delighted to be here as always. I thought this was the segment of the night, and I mean, when Paul Heyman speaks, I mean, everybody listens. Of course, he talks about how Brock Lesnar took the Big Show on a one-way trip to Suplex City and basically taking him out with not one but two F5s. Well, the one F5 was during the match, and the one was after the match, and of course, hyping the big Hell in a Cell match against The Undertaker at Hell in a Cell, and basically Heyman said, WrestleMania was your event where you never lose. What happened? Brock Lesnar conquered your streak, and you say that Hell in a Cell is the devil's favorite, the devil's playground? Well, basically Brock Lesnar will be the beast of that cell, and then basically then the Big Show comes out and basically was like, all right, you were the better man. And Lesnar with that Cheshire cat-like grin basically is like, you know what, I'm out of here. And then Big Show's basically like, you know what, I hope you lose to The Undertaker at Hell in a Cell again. And then Lesnar basically heard enough, and once again the Big Show got taken to Suplex City, and he got another F5. So definitely a good way to start off Monday Night Raw, and basically, of course, we all can't wait to see what happens at Hell in a Cell when the Beast Brock Lesnar steps in there with the Phenom, The Undertaker. So that being said, Fletcher, I give it to you.
Yes, indeed. What's up, everybody? Glad to be here as always. I agree with you guys. It was a solid segment, no doubt about it. Segment of the night, I guess I can give you that. The way that it broke down was once again Paul Heyman came out and definitely gave what we were hoping for. One of those poetic speeches, one thing that we would eat up and get excited for because now we are literally on the road to Hell in a Cell and the Go to Hell tour, as Paul Heyman was alluding to, is rolling on and rolling through. And yes, it is indeed in Boston, Massachusetts, and to say the very least, the excitement level is definitely alive, and you want to be amped up for this event because he's claiming it as literally the be all, the end all. This is the end of the series. The trilogy is supposedly supposed to end at Hell in the Cell. So and once again, Brock Lesnar gets cheered. Just the mere mention of The Undertaker got boos in Boston tonight, which was very shocking to me. But then again, especially after going into the fight in SummerSlam, how they were kind of building The Undertaker as a heel in the fight definitely was an eye opener, at least in my eyes. But after the way that Taker won the fight at SummerSlam, basically I kind of felt, I didn't feel any type of emotion or anything like that. I was kind of more into a more of a haze or whatever you want to call it. But whatever the case may be, whatever it is, it is. And now here we are, one more battle, one more fight, and now we're looking for this up and coming battle between Taker and Lesnar in the cell. And just for Big Show, just to I guess put the cherry on the top, or just basically to end that particular event, because remember he had a situation with Lesnar Saturday night in Madison Square Garden. In all attempted purposes, a lot of people have been calling it definitely a good show, maybe 6, 7 out of 10, 7.5. I've been hearing from a number of people. Um, so I mean, it was a solid event. It was a solid opener to the Monday Night Raw segment of the night. I'll give you that for the most part. I don't really know what could have been better, but other than that, we'll see. So let's go, guys. Let's move on.
All right. So with that said, we're going to go into our first match of the night here on this edition of the Wrestling Forum, and what a way to start it off! Six-man tag team action: Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Randy Orton against the Wyatt family. Winners of the match in 15 minutes and 50 seconds: Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Randy Orton via a spear by Roman Reigns on Luke Harper. Michael Bullock, oh boy, we had a lot of fun with this fight, boy. What'd you think? I already know what you think, but let's just tell the fans out there what you told me.
What can you say? I mean, this was definitely the fight of the night, without a doubt. A very good six-man tag team match. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go 3.5 to 4 stars. Maybe just teetering on 4.25 because, man, I mean, what action we saw here, and basically, I mean, the things that you saw in this was basically, I mean, they were trying, I mean, everything they could to knock Braun Strowman off his feet. I mean, the flying tackle didn't do it. Heck, even the Superman punch didn't do it. I mean, that just shows you how much of a freak Braun Strowman is, and then basically near the end of the match, you get an RKO from Randy Orton, and which basically, I'm sure, put a smile on Michael Fletcher's face, knowing that his boy hit an RKO, and then basically Roman Reigns hits the spear, and before that, pointing it, saying, "This is me sending a message to you," and he hits the spear, and a great win for Reigns, Ambrose, and Orton, and basically, of course, continuing to hype this Hell in a Cell match between Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns inside Hell in a Cell at Hell in a Cell, and I think the other guys, I think we could see them maybe involved at Hell in a Cell, maybe in a tag team match where Reigns and Orton take on Harper and Strowman, but we'll have to wait and see. But otherwise, this was my fight of the night, 3.5 to 4 stars, maybe teetering on 4.25. So Fletcher, I basically give it to you.
I disagree about the 4.25. I could give it about 3.5, 3.75. But this is definitely the fight of the night. What a match, man! I mean, go figure. The first half an hour of Monday Night Raw, or I should say the first, I want to say 30, 35 minutes, and this is what we get. All right, WWE, I guess you're definitely pushing. You definitely pushed the limit. You definitely pushed the go button on us, and you're trying to jack us up. You got us. You got us hooked, especially for the first half hour. I really thought it was definitely a segment to behold. A great way to start the show. At least 3.5, 3.75. I'll meet you there. 4.25. I think it's a little bit of a reach in my eyes, but great match, fight of the night. Anthony, go.
Yeah, I'm right there. 3.5 stars. I'm gonna give it a solid 3.5 there. I do agree with you, Fletch. I think 4 is just a smidge reaching it, not a whole lot though. With all due respect, Bullet, but you know what though? I mean, what a match! I mean, an incredible 6-man tag team match to open the show. To open the wrestling part of the show, and just a fantastic way to start it off. I mean, great action throughout. 2 commercial breaks. That definitely is a good sign. Say what you want about commercial breaks, but I always say whenever there's a commercial break or two, it prolongs the match and it gives the match more time. And and the more time a match gets, usually the higher the rating and the better the body of work is. And that's exactly what happened here. So a great 6-man. All 6 men look great. My man Braun Strowman continues to get better. You know the love affair I'm having with this guy. I mean, I'm loving his body of work. Just incredible. And of course, as everybody knows, Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt, inside Hell in a Cell at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. I even read a dirt sheet saying that there could be possibly a tag team match also at Hell in a Cell with Randy Orton and Dean Ambrose going up against Luke Harper and Braun Strowman. Oh, I don't know about that. We'll see. But one thing we do know, Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt, Hell in a Cell, which means we're getting not 1, but 2 Hell in a Cell matches come October 25th at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. So, hey, we'll take it because both of these matches both have potential to both be really special. Will one or both be 5-star classics? I really don't know at this time. We'll have to wait till the 25th for that. But what I do know is I fully expect both matches to be chock full of some of the finest Shakespearean drama you will ever see. So let's hope I'm right on that. So we're all in agreement here. It's the fight of the night, far and away, 3.5 stars. So nothing left to say here except we just got to move on. And, well, unfortunately, this is one of those times where the luck of the draw is going to bite somebody in the ass. And unfortunately, it's gonna strike the Cerebral Viper, unfortunately, because up next, we had a match. It was Mr. Money in the Bank, Sheamus, going one-on-one with Adrian Neville, and you think, because of the body of work of these two guys, you're thinking, oh, this should be a good 10 to 15 minute fight easily. Possibly a 3 to 3.5 star fight easy, based on their bodies of work. Wrong. Winner of the fall, and get this, folks, 35 seconds. Not minutes, seconds. 35 seconds. Sheamus buries Adrian Neville with a little help from his friend, Bad News Barrett. Michael Fletcher, I'm so sorry, man. Luck of the draw bites you in the ass, so.
Oh, yeah, I don't envy you, Fletch.
I don't envy you either, buddy.
All right, let's talk about why this happened. A, you're making Sheamus look strong. B, you're trying to solidify the rivalry between Adrian Neville and Bad News Barrett. That's why this happened. I mean, there's no other explanation. There's no other reasoning behind that fight. And on top of that, this was a cool down fight as well. So, with all that accumulated, yes, this is a dud. Yes, this is the worst fight of the night. And but the logic of this I can see. So I'm not gonna bash this from here to Kingdom Come. That's too easy for me to do. But I will say this: at least it gives Barrett and Neville a continuation of their rivalry, which I think we all can agree. I have no problem with that. On top of that, they need to make Sheamus look strong here. Why? Because he's going to be cashing in the Money in the Bank sometime really soon. So they need to give him at least some momentum going in. And maybe, if you give him enough of a push, then we're going to say, okay, when's the next time he's going to cash it in? Is it at Hell in a Cell? If it's not then, now we're looking at a major pay-per-view. We're looking at Survivor Series. Could he do it then? Does he wait till December? Does he wait till Rumble in January? Or are we setting up for another cash-in at WrestleMania? So now we got to start to speculate when's the perfect moment. When are they going to pull the trigger? I mean, it could happen at any time, any place, anywhere. So now we got to think. We're thinking along. We thought maybe SummerSlam was the opportunity. They didn't pull the trigger. Now we're thinking maybe after the fight with Sting, maybe this is the moment. They didn't pull it now. Now I'm starting to wonder, where's this going? So they're starting to build him up again, because remember, preferably when you're a Money in the Bank winner, there was some times where you were losing fight after fight after fight after fight after fight, getting buried, and then you get the big payoff. Now we're seeing Sheamus go through this little bit of a roller coaster, where a couple of times he's good, moments he hasn't been good. He had his opportunity not too long ago, then got the pulled rug out from under him by Randy Orton. Then it looked like he was going to cash it in again, got the rug pulled out from under him by John Cena. So it's kind of going like a roller coaster. You don't know when it's going to happen. We know it's imminent, but when? So that's one thing. As far as Adrian Neville, I understand. I know there's a lot of people in the IWCs like, how do you do that to Adrian Neville? How dare you do that to him? Why on earth would you do that? Why would you bury him in a fight like this of all nights tonight in Boston? Like I said, it solidifies his rivalry with Bad News Barrett, which I don't have a problem with, and that's why I'm not flipping out. Now I know if Anthony goes off, if Michael Bullock goes off, then hey, they got every right to. I'm not gonna rip because it's story progression, and that's the only reason why I would not go absolutely incensed. Now, if Bad News Barrett wasn't involved, and Sheamus would have buried Neville just for no reason at all, then I would have gone on. Then you would have had to hold me back. Then the Cerebral Viper would have came out. But because of the fact that we have a story progression between Neville and Barrett, and on top of that, they're trying to solidify Sheamus as Money in the Bank winner, and maybe giving us that tease that he's starting to gain momentum, meaning he might be cashing in very soon. That's why I'm not flipping out. So yes, it's a dud. Yes, it's the worst fight of the night, but you're getting a little more of a tamer, a more calm Cerebral Viper in this instance. Anthony, is yours.
Absolute dud, worst fight of the night. I mean, we're all in agreement on that. Served its purpose as a cool down fight after that 6-man, which was amazing, and then of course the opening segment from before. But nonetheless, though, way too short for my liking. I mean, I really thought that, I mean, I would have loved to have seen these two go down. This would have been an amazing match, honestly. I mean, a match with these two, 3 to 3.5, easy, based on the body of work, but mm, I'm sorry. I just didn't like it, but it's obvious that they're rekindling the rivalry with Barrett and Neville, which dates back to the King of the Ring tournament earlier this year, where Barrett won that from Neville in the finals, a very entertaining final match. But nonetheless, though, this is an absolute dud. It's the worst fight of the night. Fletcher touched on everything, so I'm not going to waste any more time. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not going to waste any more time either. I'm just going to say dud, and let's just move on, Florio.
Will do. Well, here we go. We have another in-ring segment. It is Corporate Kane in the ring. He gets interrupted by the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins, and then they get interrupted by Stephanie McMahon. And all I can say on this is this was the second best segment of the night. I mean, Rollins did another great promo by Rollins, and Stephanie McMahon. Let me tell you, folks. I mean, I thought she was great tonight. I mean, really. I mean, two moments that she had on this show that stood out to me. This is one of them. I mean, he comes down and gets and basically reprimands both Rollins and Kane, and then, well, here's the thing. Rollins asked for this. He was like, I hate to do this, but Kane, you're no Tom Brady. And even though you both have deflated balls, he said, Kane, you cannot lie and cheat and swindle your way into getting whatever you want in life. And yeah, needless to say, that drew a lot of heat from the fans in Boston, obviously. But then Stephanie McMahon comes down and then she said, well, Tom Brady is a great leader who will no doubt lead the Patriots to becoming, once again, Super Bowl champions. Debatable. We'll have to wait and see on that. Still got a long season to go. But nonetheless, yes chants break out from the live crowd. I mean, they were doing the yes chants. That was awesome. And you know how much I love that. But and then Stephanie finally does what we all expected. She finally made the match official. This is the match we were all expecting. Seth Rollins will defend the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at Hell in a Cell against Kane, but with a twist, a caveat. If Demon Kane loses the match, Corporate Kane will be relieved of his duties as Director of Operations. So we already know what's going to happen here. I mean, I had Rollins going over regardless, but yeah, there's no doubt about it. Rollins is going over, and then we can finally put an end to this Corporate Kane character, which, quite frankly, while it had its moments at times, the Corporate Kane character was tired, played out, and really a character that was at the point of go away. And now we can have him fully focus on, once again, being the Demon Kane and nothing but the Demon Kane. So served its purpose all around. Everybody was great. Kane was great. Rollins was great. Of course, Stephanie was great. Of course, I'm being biased because you two as well as Derek know of the love affair I've had for Stephanie McMahon for well over a decade and a half. So, and that's another reason why. So, well done, my dear. Well done. And well done to Rollins and Kane too. Second best segment of the night. Michael Bullock, how do you follow that?
Yes, I do agree this was the second best segment of the night. Basically talking about Seth Rollins, and then Seth comes out and basically Corporate Kane was the one who suggests that Seth's partner be, of course, himself. And then basically that did not make Seth Rollins happy. He came out and basically said, this is not how this works. And then he says, well, Kane, you're no Tom Brady. And even though they both have deflated balls, Kane cannot lie and cheat into getting what he wants. Life doesn't work that way. And basically that upset everyone in Boston. And yes, even yours truly, who is a Patriots fan. And then Kane was basically like, you know what? Sometimes to be the man, sometimes you gotta go through hell and face your demons. And he said that in such an angrily tone, and then basically Stephanie McMahon comes out and she tells them to stop, and then Stephanie McMahon brings up Seth insulting Tom Brady, and then she said, you know what? At least Tom Brady is a team player and a leader, no doubt lead the Patriots to becoming Super Bowl champions. And, of course, you all know earlier this year, of course, Triple H and Stephanie were at Super Bowl 49 and got to see the New England Patriots, of course, win the Super Bowl. Of course, both Triple H and Stephanie, of course, are Patriots fans. So, and then basically she announced that at Hell in a Cell, it'll be Demon King going up against Seth Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and if Monster King doesn't defeat Seth Rollins for the title, then Corporate Kane will be relieved of his duties. So, and then of course afterwards, she said that Kane and Seth Rollins, if they want to be tag team partners for the match against the Dudley Boys, then so be it. So, definitely this was the second best segment of the night. So, with that being said, Fletcher, I give it to you.
And again, this is one of those good segments that had a lot of content, a lot of film, and not only that, but it actually gave us some narrative. Of course, am I a big fan of this Demon Kane, Corporate Kane, how they're doing the switcheroo a la TNA when they had Joseph Park and the Monster Abyss? Not really, but whatever. I mean, to each his own on that one. I really don't like the copycat type of antics that WWE kind of pulls. I kind of feel like, come on, one company does it, that's their shtick. Let them do what they have. If they want to run that, then fine. But there's no need for WWE to kind of lower themselves to any type of storyline with TNA. I mean, honestly, let me be brutally honest there. On top of that, I like the way that they did, and Seth Rollins had a right to rip on Patriot fans. He's getting the monster heel. He's getting the monster heat. They're gonna start playing off of the fact that, New England, Boston, so you knew it was coming. But the rip job on Tom Brady, I will admit this. There's quite a few people out there, outside of the New England area, which is Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Vermont, Maine, New Hampshire, outside of the New England area, they're going to agree with Seth Rollins on that, about what Brady and the leadership and all that stuff. I'm actually surprised, and I'm actually not surprised that they actually brought in a little bit of the Deflategate thing and brought that in, because we kind of knew that was coming. Patriot fans, they kind of rolled their eyes and like, again, come on, we already went through this. I'm just no big surprise. Now for Stephanie McMahon to come out and back the Patriots, she's kind of going for the cheap pop. But I will tell you this, like I said, in New England, in the New England area, she's going to be considered a hero. For the rest of the country and the rest of the world, she's going to be considered a witch. And yes, I said witch, not that other word. I'm going to keep it PG tonight. And I'll try to be what Anthony likes to always do, be a man of good faith and not try to get myself into any trouble tonight. But I'll say this. It was a solid segment. Second best segment of the night. I got that. I'll give you that. No doubt about it. As far as where it goes from here, well, they just said it. The Demon King, against Seth Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight title. And if Demon Kane wins, he's the champion. If Demon Kane loses, then Corporate Kane is fired as the director of operations. So I don't know how this is going to play out. I kind of feel like I'm with Anthony here. I think Rollins is going to keep the belt. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens then. And on to the next thing. So Florio, it's yours.
All right. The first of two Divas matches here tonight on Monday Night Raw, as this is a match that I know Michael Bullock has been waiting for. Natalya, one-on-one with Paige, winner of the match in an even 6 minutes via the sharpshooter. It was Natalya. So, Michael Bullock, this is the match you've been waiting for, and I know this outcome is more than pleasing for you.
Yeah, what was the time of the fall again? I couldn't quite...
It was an even 6 minutes, Bullock.
All right, I'm going to give it basically... I'm going to give it 1.5 stars for my rating. I thought the match was fine for what it was, and I mean, we knew we were going to get this match for a while because let's just face it. I mean, ever since Paige went on her rant, I mean, basically Natalya was. I mean, this is where Paige was basically ripping Natalya, saying, "Oh, where have you been, Natalya? You've been gone." Well, the reason why she was gone because. Well, one, she was taking care of her injured husband, Tyson Kidd, and that's why she's been gone. And now she's back, and basically she's been poking at Natalya, and basically especially last week when, a couple of weeks ago, she basically Paige slapped Natalya when she was basically trying to get her to get a little reality into her rant, and then of course then last week when Natalya offered to help out Charlotte and Becky Lynch after Paige walked down, Paige came back and basically and tripped her off. So you knew payback was coming, and Natalya got her revenge, and just like in the old Bret Hart song, when it came to Bret Hart, it's all about that RESPECT, respect, and I guess she taught Paige a little respect here tonight. So 1.5 stars is my rating, and so with that being said, Fletcher, I give it to you.
Yeah, this was a pleasant surprise. Good solid fight. I'll give it between 1.5 to 2. I agree with that. But more importantly, Natalya gets the win. That's, I think, is going to be the biggest story coming out of this fight tonight. Natalya wins. She beats Paige. You want to talk about a shocking turn of events or a shocking twist and a major victory for her. That is definitely a step in the right direction for her to revitalize her career, because she has been a little bit in the diva purgatory for a little bit because of the fact that, like you said, she has been taking care of her husband, Tyson Kidd, a.k.a. TJ, for all you fans of the Total Diva show. But not only that, but there hasn't really been much of a storyline for Natalya lately. And now with this, PCB implosion that's been going on, Paige has been really been out for herself, being the renegade diva like she always has been. And now it seems like it was the old Mama Bear had to show the younger cub, who really runs the Divas division and who's still, that she still got it after all these years. So I'm happy with this victory for her. Congratulations. 1.5 to 2 is my rating for this fight. A solid match. Well done, Natalya. Big victory for her tonight, and I was pleasantly surprised and very impressed with her performance tonight. So, Anthony, it's yours.
I'm going to pull the trigger. A solid 2-star fight. I mean, it was a well-worked, a well-wrestled Divas match between two Divas who can wrestle. Let's not kid ourselves. I mean, My only gripe is that it only got 6 minutes. I would have liked to have seen it get a little bit longer, but you know what? It's all right. I mean, you know, the effort was there. I mean, the action was there. It was great action throughout and some good near falls. So, yeah, Natalia getting a much needed win, the biggest win for Natalia in quite a while. So, hopefully this will be the start of bigger and better things for Natty. I'm really hoping for it. So, yeah, that Hart family killer instinct comes through one more time, and I'm very happy about that. So, this Hart family mark is very proud tonight. You better believe it. So, yes, well done, Natalia. Well done indeed. And like I said, I'm hoping for bigger and better things for her. She deserves it. So, yes, solid 2 stars for that Divas matchup. So, all right. Moving on to our next match. Let's see how Michael Fletcher feels about this one, because this features another one of his favorites, the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion Kevin Owens, going one-on-one with Lucha Dragon Sin Cara, and the winner of the match in 2 minutes and 35 seconds via the pop-up powerbomb. It is the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion himself, Kevin Owens. Fletch, it's well documented. The love affair you've had with Kevin Owens since the days of ROH and all that. Did he impress you here tonight against Sin Cara or what?
Performance-wise, yes. Fight-wise, no. This was bad. I can't help myself on this one. Too short for my liking. Definitely, I mean, could you put somebody better than Sin Cara? I mean, honestly, you have a whole order roster of WWE talent, and the best you can do is give us Sin Cara? I mean, oh man, this was, I'm going to say at least 1 to 1.5, and I'm probably being generous at least with that performance. Nothing more to say. Anthony, go.
Well, the reason for that, Michael, the reason why Sin Cara, the reason why Kevin Owens went up against Sin Cara was because of the fact that if you saw the Raw pre-show on the WWE Network, Sin Cara challenged Kevin Owens to a match. Well, Kevin Owens had a confrontation with both of the Lucha Dragons, Sin Cara and Kalisto, and he's like, I'll fight either one of you," and Sin Cara was the one who wanted to fight, and I said the same thing myself, Fletch. I mean, because and don't get me wrong, he's gotten a lot better ever since they paired him with Kalisto as part of the Lucha Dragons and whatnot. But well, it's a good news, bad news is. The good news is he didn't botch. Thank Hades for that, because we all know how much of a notorious botcher Sin Cara is. Survivor Series 2011, anyone? Survivor Series 2011, anyone? Anyone? Okay. I just wanted to be sure on that, because that was far and away the worst botch of his career right there. Cost him several months.
No comment on that.
Yeah, absolutely. But nonetheless, I kind of agree with Michael Fletcher's rating. But I'm actually gonna be a little more generous to give it the solid 1 star for the effort. I mean, because I didn't think the action was that bad, but still, it was only a 2.5 minute fight. I'm not at all surprised Owens went over, and then all of a sudden here comes Ryback come out, and then Owens tucks his tail between his legs and runs like a scalded dog, like JR would say. So yes, it's very obvious that Ryback and Kevin Owens will battle one more time for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. That's going to be at Hell in a Cell in less than 3 weeks at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. So yeah, they're obviously trying to build to that. But the Sin Cara fight could have been better. But I'll tell you what, if it had been Kalisto, I would have been a little more optimistic, because Kalisto, to me, is the better of the two Lucha Dragons, body of work wise, because his skill set is, I think, better than Sin Cara's. But hey, he's made Sin Cara a better wrestler, though. I'll give him that, and he hasn't botched as much as he used to. Because, like I said, Sin Cara was a notorious, and I do mean notorious, botcher. None more so than the 2011 Survivor Series, in that traditional Survivor Series elimination match when he was a part of Team Randy Orton against Team Wade Barrett. Believe me, you don't want to see that botch, folks, because that botch was ugly. Need I say more? 1 star, second worst fight of the night for my taste. So, with that said, Michael Bullock, I mean, you're the one who told me about this because that's when we started our Raw chat tonight, as we always do with the pre-show. I mean, you told me about this fight, and I was very nervous about this fight, wasn't I?
Yeah, I'm gonna say half to 1 star for my taste. I mean, it was the second worst fight of the night, and I thought the match was fine for what it was, but it was just way too short. So yeah, and then Kevin Owens basically starts beating up the other Lucha Dragon, Kalisto, and then yes, here comes Ryback, and Kevin Owens runs like a scalded dog, and then basically you know at some point we're gonna get this match, the Intercontinental title match, Kevin Owens and Ryback, a Hell in a Cell. So yeah, so really got nothing else to say. Half to 1 star. Florio, let's move on.
All right, and move on we will. We're going to move on to, let's see what we have here. Well, we're going to move on to a very special segment, to say the very least. We had John Cena and Roman Reigns in the ring with several of the survivors, of several breast cancer survivors for, the Susan G. Komen. As you know, WWE has been a proud partner of Susan G. Komen. This is the 4th consecutive year they're doing this. And, it's a wonder. I mean, this to me, I mean, you can make an argument that this was the segment of the night. I mean, you could really make an argument for that. But, all right. It's very rare that I do this, but, fellas, before I get your thoughts on, not just the segment, but I want to get your thoughts on this, because Michael Bullock, Mr. Bullock, you brought this to my attention. I don't know if Fletcher got word of this. Maybe he has, maybe he hasn't, but if he did, whether he did or didn't, I want to make sure he gets the word. Fletcher, I don't know if you got a word of this, but if you did, you did. If you didn't, you didn't. Well, you're going to find out about it anyway. Michael Bullock informed me of this during our Raw chat tonight, and I'm glad he did, because this is something that really needs to be addressed, if I'm going to be honest with you. The segment was fantastic. Let's not get that. It's not about the segment at all. The name CM Punk, everybody knows who CM Punk is. He was a fantastic performer for WWE. I've been a fan of his for a long time, as all of us were. I mean, Fletch especially, because Fletch was the one who pretty much fell in love with the guy right at the very start. He saw something in him, blah, blah, blah. You know the story. But he tweeted out something tonight that really offended me. And as a man of good faith, you better believe I'm going to be offended by this.
And it offended me as well.
Amen to that, Bullet. Tweet goes as follows. If you're going to give money to a company that claims to raise money for finding a cure for cancer, please do some research. Komen is a scam.
True.
I was angrier than a swarm of them.
No. He's absolutely right. And I can actually vouch for it as well. Because I had gone through the Gloria Gemma breast cancer thing. It is true. Only, listen to this, gentlemen. What what many people don't know is that only 4% of the actual donations actually goes out to the research and for the breast cancer and to help. A lot of it is all for promotional stuff and a lot of the things. Because of the fact that Megan Silva was a part of the organization, well, she was the reason why I got into the breast cancer walk for 2 consecutive years. She did not do it this year because of that. So actually, I'm not going to say every company is a scam because it's not. But as far as the Sujin G. Coleman or the Gloria Gemma, and now I know I'm going to get a lot of monster heat for this, but only 4% of the stuff that they do actually goes for cancer research. A lot of it throughout the year actually is for promotional, and a lot of it goes to corporate sponsors more than anything else. So the thing is that is it offensive? Absolutely. It's out of bounds. But he's actually right about what he's saying. I wish CM Punk would have elaborated more so that it would open the eyes of the people. Because when you say something like that, you know a lot of people are going to react and say that's tasteless. But if you actually really if you really go down and look at it as a whole, Anthony, he's actually speaking some truth here. And I can actually vouch for it. So he is right in one way. I wish he would have elaborated more. That's what I would say.
All right then.
Interesting.
Yeah, but the segment as a whole, though, I mean that little thing they did, though. I mean, I still thought that was a very nice segment, though. I will say that, though. So but and fellas, I'm sure we're all agreed on that, right? Segment was great. Before we move on,
Indeed.
Fletch.
It was heartwarming. It's a powerful message. Just like, I know Elizabeth Decker, she's been watching our program lately. Just like they had that prostate ovarian thing last month, which was POS. Susan G. Coleman for breast cancer is such a powerful message and such a powerful thing, and I would never ever say anything bad about it, But I will say this: it is powerful enough, and it's a great message because we hear stories about how women has had breast cancer who survived it. The technology is so great nowadays. It definitely is something to put your money into, for the right reasons. So yeah, no, it was powerful enough, and it was an awesome segment.
Okay, so that's all. I just that was just something I really wanted to address that. If I'm going to be honest with you guys, so all right. So without further ado, now get back into the business at hand here on the Wrestling Forum, and you better believe we're probably going to have a lot more, to say the very least. So yeah, okay, yeah. And I was just reading Jason Powell's review. All right. Back to the action, tag team action. We had the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins and corporate Demon Kane, whatever you want to call it, against those damn Dudleys. No contest. It was a non-finish in 14 minutes. So with that said, should I start this off, or should I give it to Bullet to start it off?
You can start it off.
Go for it, Florio. It's yours.
All right. Okay. I thought the match was fine for what it was. I'm gonna give it a solid 2.5 stars for the effort. I mean, it was an okay fight. I mean, I really didn't like the finish though. Yeah, the finish was one of those cop-out finishes. The Dudleys were getting the table, as everybody knows, and Seth Rollins did a baseball slide that connected onto the table, and the referee threw out the fight, and the match was over, and that was it. So really nothing left to say on that. But so it's a 2.5 star, and then of course Demon Kane. I mean, it was Corporate Kane who started it, and then Demon Kane shows up, and lots of hell breaks loose, and Corporate Kane, Demon Kane takes out Rollins, choke slams him through a table. Definitely an oh my god Joey Styles moment, like Fletcher would have done, I'm sure. And then of course the Dudleys get some payback on Kane with a 3D after what Kane did to them on the last SmackDown if you didn't see it. So, but there you have it. That's pretty much all this was in a nutshell. So I'm going to give it a solid 2.5 for the effort because, like I said, fine action, but finish to me was, another one of those clunky cop-out finishes, and which we here at the Wrestling Forum have absolutely, positively zero tolerance for. So, and I know nobody has more zero tolerance for clunky cop-out finishes more so than Mr. Michael Bullock, and I'm sure he's going to elaborate right now. So, Mr. Bullock, your thoughts on this tag match?
Yeah, I'll give it a solid 2.5 stars. Just for the effort. I mean, yes, I don't like cop-out finishes, especially no contests, but I thought it was good for what it was, and basically Seth Rollins was basically barking orders to Kane. So basically ordering him around, and basically he was in for most of the action, and then near the end, Kane gets knocked off, and he hurt his ankle, and that's when I had that feeling. You knew Demon Kane was going to be coming out, and he did, and it looked like he was going to choke slam Seth Rollins, and then he gets a 3D by the Dudleys, because remember, he choke slammed both Dudleys on SmackDown this past Thursday night, and you knew payback was coming, and then Seth Rollins gets the table. Looks like he's going to basically put Kane through a table, but basically Kane grabs Seth Rollins and he choke slams him through a table. So basically I got nothing more to say except this was a 2.5 star match. Fletcher, I give it to you.
I agree with what you just said. A 2.5 star fight, and there's nothing really more to say anything about it. So, Anthony, let's just move on.
All right. Moving on to our next matchup here. Well. I know we're gonna have some fun with this. 6 Diva tag team match. Team Bad, Alicia. We had Team Bad, Naomi, Tamina, and of course the hometown girl back in Boston, Sasha Banks, going up against Team Bella, Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, and Alicia Fox. They did an angle beforehand, and then where they showed both groups of ladies arriving at the TD Garden. Nikki Bella rocking a Yankee cap, and Sasha Banks not having anything to do with that since she is a Boston girl. And then it was match time. They cut a promo They had some fighting words. They had a verbal exchange beforehand, and then we finally got it on. And the winners of the match in 11 minutes and 25 seconds via the bank statement on Alicia Fox. It was. Yes, Sasha Banks gets the win for her team in her hometown. So with that said, yes, Michael Bullock, 6 Diva tag team match. We had some fun with this one, buddy. What'd you think?
Yeah, basically this was a really good 6 Diva tag team match. I mean, of course, I love the back and forth that they had, not only when they arrived at the arena and basically Nikki Bella rocking the Yankee cap, and I was like, oh, really, Nikki? Especially with me being the Red Sox fan and
this
Sasha
is one
Banks.
Time, and Bullock, sorry to interrupt, but this is one time that I was actually happy to see Nikki Bella, because anytime I see a beautiful woman rocking a Yankee cap, you know what I have to say. Hey, girl.
Yeah, well, Sasha Banks was gonna have none of that because she is a Boston girl, and she probably is a Red Sox fan. And then they had a nice verbal exchange before the match, and then the match was on, and I thought this was a solid 6 Diva tag team match, and I'll say I'm gonna say maybe about 2.5. I'll say 2.5 stars is my rating for the match. Maybe I'll say 2.5 to 3 to be quite honest here, because I thought the action was good. I mean, I mean, a great back and forth between the ladies here, and yes, and Sasha Banks with the bank statement, and it's only appropriate that she goes over it because number one, it's her hometown, and number two, you want to give her some momentum because remember, folks, this Wednesday night on the WWE Network, it's NXT Takeover Respect, and Sasha Banks is going to be going up against the NXT Women's Champ Bayley in a 30-minute Iron Man match, and that will indeed be that is of course going to be the main event of that NXT Takeover, and I'm going to go on the record saying this, boys. I think this match is going to be better than the one that we saw at NXT Takeover Brooklyn. So, yeah, so 2.5 to 3 stars is my rating for the fight. So, Fletcher, I give it to you.
I gotta give it at least 3 stars. I really liked this Diva fight. I thought this was a very good match, to say the very least. I definitely have nothing bad to say about it. But boys, that is a beautiful sight to see. To see the boss in her element, in her own hometown, back better than ever. And then she puts the bank statement. Yeah, it's on Alicia Fox, and it kind of was a little bit of a little shocker, but it is what it is. But it was a great victory for her. She gets a big victory, and on top of that, she's roaring all the way on the way because of the fact that she is now a pivotal player going into the next few months and going into the next event. So we're going to see what happens. I definitely loved what I saw, and I really was really impressed with the way that this thing came out. I loved it. It was a great victory for her, a statement victory. Now she's on to the NXT Takeover for the title shot in the Iron Woman fight. We're hoping nothing but the best, but we'll wait and see what happens. But definitely a big, big victory, to say the very least. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with Michael Fletcher's rating. I'm going to pull the trigger once again. This is a solid 3-star Diva match. I mean, definitely, in my opinion, the better of the two Diva fights, although they were both good. But this one was better because they got quite a bit more time. I got nearly double the time that Paige and Natalya had. Paige and Natalya only got 6 minutes. This one got nearly 12, which I thought was really, really nice. And of course, no big surprise. I even told Bullet this. No big surprise. Sasha Banks scored the winning fall for her team because 2 reasons. It is her hometown of Boston, and it's also, I mean, obviously the hometown rub, which we've been seeing a lot lately, i.e. Bound for Glory last night. If you didn't see that, you know where I'm going with that. But nonetheless, not just the hometown rub, but also the fact that she's going up against Bayley, 30-minute Iron Woman match as part of NXT TakeOver Respect this Wednesday night on the WWE Network. And it's the first time ever on a WWE Network event, special, whatever you want to call it, that the ladies are going to be in the main event, and rightfully so. I mean, after the match that Bayley and Sasha had as part of NXT TakeOver Brooklyn the night before SummerSlam, a match that all 3 of us have held in high regards as not only a 5-star classic chock full of the absolute finest Shakespearean drama you will ever see, but it's also being held in regards to the 3 of us as, believe it or not, the fight of the year. That's how good this fight was. And who knows?
One of the reasons why we gave NXT TakeOver Brooklyn a perfect 10.
Gave NXT TakeOver Brooklyn a perfect 10, and it's also the reason why NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, maybe, hopefully I'm not just the only one who thinks this, but I hope all 3 of us can agree on this, why NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, to me, should be the #1 event of the year when we do our year-end power rankings.
I agree with that.
It's tight. It's really close. They do have it. I'll give it that. I think they won it, but there's a couple of other events that's right there too. So, I mean, it's definitely the front runner, but I'm not going to say it is. It's the front runner, but it's not the event of the year because I
Yeah, because we still got a long way to go going this year.
Not only that, but there was also another event outside of the United States in New Japan Pro Wrestling, which was Wrestle Kingdom 9. And in my eyes, and in Derek Ferrera's eyes, that one was also a damn near perfect 10. It was practically a perfect 10 with that. And there was quite a few fights in that one that I could say could have been, well, at least for Diva Fight of the Year, this Bailey and Sasha's got it hands down. But as overall Fight of the Year, oh, that's close. It's tight. It's right there. So we'll see, but there's definitely a few spots there.
Yeah, I know. And that Wrestle Kingdom 9, I tell you, that was an amazing event. I mean, all the matches were fantastic. None more so than the AJ Styles fight. I mean, that's the one that did it for me. But nonetheless, I'll tell you what. I mean, what happens on Wednesday night? I'll say it like this: I think Bayley goes over. I think she's going to successfully defend the title. But this fight here could be even better than what we saw at Takeover Brooklyn. And if it is, it's going to make Takeover Brooklyn look like a dud enhancement fight. That's all there is to it. So, 3 stars for the effort. I mean, all of this came off really well. I mean, that little that pre-Raw angle they shot before. I mean, that was the first good thing, and then of course follow that up with the verbal exchange. I mean, that was even better, and then the fight goes on and delivers. So, all recipes for a good sign. So yeah, that was great. So 3 stars without question, and to me, it's one of the top 3 fights of the night. It's between the second and third best fight of the night. I mean that 6-man with the Wyatts and Roman and Ambrose and Orton. I mean, no one's gonna touch that. I mean, no fight was better than that. But this one here was at least second, maybe third best. So that's all there is to it. So so with that said, we're gonna move on to let me see. Let me pull up our next. Oh boy. Oh yeah, we're gonna have some fun with this. Oh yeah, this ought to be good. We had Summer Rae in the ring. Now that's a bad thing, because you know how much. This is another one I got a love affair with. Love my Summer Rae. She was in there. She brings out Rusev, and it's very rare we see this, but she gets down. She gets down on one knee and she proposes marriage to Rusev, and Rusev accepts, but he says, "Well, it's a yes, but not yet." So I'm trying to think here. Who led off on that last?
Bullock, it's you. I think you got to lead off.
I thought he led off on the last fight.
Yeah, I led off on the last fight. So, oh shit, it's you.
It goes back to me. If Bullock, oh.
Well, I think the Cerebral Viper is about to coil. Am I right?
Man, this is one time I wish I could have taken it, because I knew Fletch is probably ready to go off.
All right, Viper, coil.
All right. I will say this. I don't understand. Well, let me just refocus this a little bit. So, she basically proposes marriage to Rusev. Rusev said yes. Well, with one little caveat. You get me gold, I get you gold. Meaning, you win me if I win a championship, then I'll marry you. Alright. Seems pretty simple enough. Here's the one thing. I think WWE is starting to get a little cold feet, and they actually now realize they might have made a mistake separating Rusev and Lana. And now that Lana's on the shelf for 4 months, maybe they might prolong this a little bit in order to do, and I hate to do this to you guys, but I think we might see very soon a reuniting of Rusev and Lana together. Now, how are they going to work this out? How's this going to come to fruition? Is it meant to be? Because remember, in real life, Rusev and Lana are together. They're an actual couple in real life. Could this be another? Now I know a lot of people are going to be like, huh? Are you kidding me, Mike? But doesn't it have a feel like 1991 all over again? Macho Man Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth here. I mean, I don't know why. I don't even know why that popped into my head, but it did. It feels like it. It feels like that storyline all over again from 91. I don't know why, but it feels like Macho, Miss Elizabeth, and Sensational Sherry. And I feel like something like this could happen again. A boomerang effect where Summer Rae breaks up with Rusev for some reason. We won't know why. And Lana's going to be there to comfort him. And there's a reunitement. Maybe that would be the moment where Rusev might turn face and then have Rusev face with Lana. But I don't know. I didn't like the segment. It's kind of giving me like a stinking migraine headache right now. So, Florio, I'm just gonna give it to you.
Yeah. Where do I take this? Yeah. To me, this was the worst segment of the night. If I'm going to be honest with you, I just had this feeling that once we saw Summer in there, I mean, I knew where this was heading. I mean, we knew this was going to be headed to Nowheresville. That's a town you don't want to be in. I mean, that place makes Suplex City look like friggin' Disneyland, for goodness sakes. But Nowheresville is not fun, trust me. And this place is and this segment was definitely a part of Nowheresville tonight. It went nowhere. I mean, yeah. Jason Powell, our good friend from ProWrestling.net. I mean, his review summed it all up. Oh, why the hell not? Weddings do ratings, and Lord knows WWE needs a boost. They want Rusev to be a comedy guy rather than a money player, so why fight it? I'm guessing this means Rusev takes the U.S. title and then Cena goes off on his vacation. If I were Rusev, I'd have Cena pinned and then pick him up at whenever the ref counts to 2. Yeah, tell us how you really feel on that, Jason Powell. I mean, but then again, I kind of agree with him on that. So,
wow, tell us how you really feel, man.
Yeah, he certainly did, and yeah, whenever they decide to do this wedding, let's face it, you think this thing's gonna go off without a hitch? Absolutely not. I mean, the only wedding that's ever gone off without a hitch, Michael Fletcher said it. It was SummerSlam, 1991, Madison Square Garden. The late greats, Macho Man Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth. I mean, as far as I know, that's the only wedding that's ever gone off without a hitch. I mean, all the others have had, mass interruptions. There are two, none two stand out more than when Kane came up from under the ring to interrupt that wedding ceremony between Edge and Lita. Who will ever forget that? The priest, when the priest yelled out, I'm not going to say it, but we all know what the priest said. Oh, we had a lot of fun with that now, didn't we? And then when Kane, came up from under the ring and, went after Edge and Lita right around the time of the Vengeance in 2005, that was the second greatest. We all know what the greatest wedding interruption of all time was. And Michael Fletcher, how many times have we replayed this in our minds over and over and over again, man?
Triple H interrupting Test and Stephanie McMahon, the infamous line, and I'll even do it in Triple H's voice. I got it. Oh, wait. Okay, I got it. I got a question for you, Dad. It's not, did we, but how many times did we consummate the marriage?
Oh, yeah. Greatest wedding interruption ever. I don't care what anybody says. Fletch and I, during our high school days, I mean, we were sophomores back then. Fletch, how many times, man? How many? I mean, we could tell people stories about
It was the most beautiful setup because remember, the way that they set it up, the whole wedding and everything else, it was a nice little filter. It filtrated in. It was a nice little setup, and everything was perfect. I mean, the wedding looked beautiful. It looked like it was a traditional, and it was more shocking that Triple H showed up and interrupted, but when he did, it turned out to be one of the greatest moments in WWE history.
it.
I
Amen.
mean, it was a thing of beauty how that wedding went down because nobody saw it coming. It was a complete and utter blindside. And even
Oh,
and I'll even say this: one of the wedding that actually was really good, that was a complete and utter blindside, and I'll even admit it, you got to go over to TNA with Bubba Ray Dudley and Brooke Hogan.
yeah. I was actually telling Bullock about that earlier.
I
Yeah.
mean, that was a thing of beauty. I
Right.
thought, I mean, as much as I know Hogan and Bubba Ray, they had their little back and forth. They really didn't care for each other, but it was such a beautiful moment. And plus, to see Taz come up and reveal that he was the newest member of the Aces and Eights.
Mm,
Wow!
yes.
Wow! I
And
mean,
I was even also telling Bullock earlier, Fletch, about how, during the Dudley's fight with Rollins and Kane, I was telling him about, the Dudley's run at TNA, specifically Bubba's, when he was Bully Ray. I also told him about Lockdown in the steel cage when he won the title for the first time. When he turned and went over Jeff Hardy and won the title in the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. I mean, yeah, I mean, TNA even had their share of weddings, and of course, another great wedding moment. I mean, what about that renewal ceremony with Karen and Jeff Jarrett? Well, I was interrupted by Kurt Angle. I mean, that was good stuff. But what about Fletch? And I think I know where you were going to go with it. Speaking of marriage renewal ceremonies, the infamous Triple H and Stephanie renewal ceremony.
oh, yes, I remember that. I think we all remember that one. Wow.
Senior year, buddy. Senior
Yeah,
year.
senior year. And I'll tell you one thing. We've seen many weddings in our day in professional wrestling. And you know what? Hell, let's go back to that old school. I think it was a Saturday night's main event.
Yes,
Uh,
Uncle Elmer, and Miss Vicky.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, Uncle Elmer. And I'll tell you one thing. That one, even though it was hilarious for the most part, but Roddy Piper, man,
Guy Russell.
oh my goodness. I mean, for him to interrupt and go on that rant and everything else. But I will say this: what made the moment so epic was the commentary of Vince McMahon and Jesse the
Yes,
Body Ventura.
Ventura. Yes.
That oh
Yes.
oh man. I mean, their commentary during that wedding was absolutely like if you didn't get a laugh, you're not a professional wrestling fan. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't care. You're that it was awesome. It was perfect.
Damn right it was. Jesse's commentary was always on the money. I mean, just amazing, and especially during. I mean, that was one. I think that was like the very first real wedding angle they ever did, that I can ever recall. I mean, yeah, we were only babies at the time, but so what? I mean, we remember it. I mean, it's on the WWE Network for goodness sakes, and I remember a little over a year ago, I was watching back all the old Saturday Night's main events on the WWE Network, and I watched back that very one 'cause I never saw that one before. That was too little to remember it. We never had a VHS tape of that around, so I'm like, you know what? I gotta check this out. I want to see what happened, and I'm glad I did. And yeah, that wedding was just hilarious, and Uncle Elmer, Miss Vicky. I mean, that was great. I mean, that's another great wedding right there. Um, Of course, the most beautiful, obviously, was Macho and Liz. Let's not get ourselves on that. But Fletch said it best. I mean, that angle, that angle with Stephanie McMahon and Test and Triple H interrupting that and planting the seeds for what would become the most unholy alliance you will ever see. I mean, it pretty much was the kickstart of the McMahon Helmsley era, the authority, whatever you want to say. That kickstarted the whole thing. And like Fletch said, sheer perfection. That's all I can say on that. So, even though this was the worst segment of the night, we just had a lot of fun reliving some of the great wedding moments. And you know, when this wedding goes down with Rusev and Summer, I think I mean he said it's a yes, but not now. Why do I have the feeling that when they're ready to do it, it'll be at the time when Lana's ready to come back from her injury? Think about it. All right, Michael Bullock. I've never asked this question. I'm never going to ask this question to you like I've never asked it before. Man, oh man, how do you follow that, my man? How do you follow that?
I don't know, but yeah, this was definitely the worst segment of the night, without a shadow of a doubt. So yeah, I really got nothing else to say. I mean, you guys pretty much touched on it all. So that being said, Flora, let's move on to our main event, which is the John Cena U.S. Open Challenge.
John Cena U.S. Open Challenge. Well, okay. They hyped the you-know-what out of this thing tonight, okay? And then, John Cena comes out and whatnot and does his brief little pre-match promo. And then all of a sudden, we hear Dolph Ziggler's music, we're thinking, oh my goodness, this is going to be great. I mean, because we all know. For those of you who may not have seen the season finale of Total Divas last week, I mean, we saw it. I mean, Dolph Ziggler. You saw the moment with Dolph Ziggler and Nikki Bella, because Dolph Ziggler was at one time the boyfriend of Nikki Bella before John Cena was, and then they had that big that little moment during right towards the end of it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when the new season premieres or whenever that does. I imagine it'll probably be sometime in the new year. That's my guess, if not sooner. But we honestly could have had that. We could have had Cena and Ziggler out there for the U.S. Heavyweight title. And if we had, oh my goodness, this thing could have been a 5-star classic easy. It really could have. But did we get Dolph Ziggler against John Cena? Nope. Because Ziggler got beaten down by the New Day, by all three members of the New Day. New Day drags his prone carcass out to the ring, to the stage area. So then the New Day takes over, and who answers the call? Well, last week it was Xavier Woods. This week it was Big E Langston. Big E Langston answers the call for the match. So it is Big E Langston, John Cena, for the United States Heavyweight Championship. Winner of the match in 9 minutes and 55 seconds via the AA. Who else but John Cena, who is still the United States Heavyweight Champion. Oh, my man. Oh, my goodness. This could have been something really special. You had an opportunity here. Cena and Ziggler would have stolen the show. Am I not right on that? Those two would have stolen the show. But instead, you give us Big E. I mean, don't get me wrong, the match was fine, but it was nothing like what would have been if we had gotten Cena against Ziggler. Cena and Ziggler would have been a damn near 5-star classic. Shakespearean drama all around. I didn't feel any Shakespearean drama during this fight. I mean, yeah, referee Charles Robinson threw Kofi and Xavier out, obviously. That was fine and dandy. But I will give it between 2 to 2.5 stars for the effort, though. I mean, because there was some okay action, though. I will give them that. But yeah, my gripe with this is this: you hyped you hype the you-know-what out of this. And this is what we get. I mean, they kept saying, oh, big names like Sheamus and Kevin Owens and Dolph Ziggler and Rusev and such and such. And then we get this. I mean, like I said, Cena and Ziggler would have stolen the show. It would have been a fight of the year contender, far and away. That thing could have been 4.5 to 5 easy, based on the body of work of these guys and the Shakespearean drama and playing up the Total Divas thing. But then after the match was over, New Day beats down Cena, and then Ziggler comes out. And you notice, maybe it was an accident, maybe it wasn't, I don't know, but it looked like it was an accident here. I think they were trying to build it up as such. Ziggler with a super kick on Cena. And then that brings out those damn Dudleys. That brings out Bubba and Devon to get some of New Day. Absolute chaos, absolute... Wow. That's all I can say on that. So, that's all I can say on that is, man, what could have been. What could have been. 2 to 2.5 stars for the effort. All right, Michael Bullock, let's get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, 2.5 stars. I mean, you were hyping like we were gonna get a big time star, and I mean, when I heard Dolph Ziggler's music, I was like, yes, we're gonna get something really good, especially with the way that season finale of Total Divas went. But instead, you give us Big E. No. I mean, the match was still fine, but it was nothing to compare to what we could have gotten if it was Dolph Ziggler who was in this match. But we did see Ziggler after the match where he tried to save Cena, but he got beaten down by the New Day, and then, basically he was trying to super kick one of them, but he got Cena instead, and then here come those damn Dudleys, and they get beaten down too, and basically they got the New Day stands tall at the end. So 2.5 stars is my rating on the match. Fletch, I give it to you.
2.5 stars is my rating for the fight, no doubt about it. I thought this was a good fight, solid fight. There's really nothing more to say. Time for overall reviews.
All right. Overall review time indeed. And Michael Bullock, did this show live up to our expectations here tonight?
Well, this show was just a smidgen was better than what we saw last week. I'll grant you that, but so I'm basically going to give it somewhere between, I'm going to say 6.5 to 7 out of 10 is my rating for the overall thoughts on the show. I mean, the fight of the night obviously was that 6-man tag team match with Reigns, Ambrose, and Orton against the Wyatt family. I could give the Divas, the 6 Diva tag team fight as the second best fight of the night, and third best fight of the night was the tag team match with the Dudleys and Rollins and Corporate Kane, and you had that good opening segment with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, and then of course you had the second best segment with Rollins and Kane and Stephanie McMahon, and I have to say I would put it in Cena and Big E for the U.S. title in the middle, but then of course the worst fight of the night was of course that Sheamus and Neville match, and then of course that terrible segment with Rusev and Summer Rae. So I'm going to say 6.5 to 7 out of 10 is my rating. So Fletcher, I give it to you.
Me, it's a 6 out of 10. I thought it was better than the last couple of weeks, no doubt about it. It definitely took a little bit of a step in the right direction, but not enough for us to say that it's over or anything like that, but they definitely do need to get better. And, but it is, I'll admit, a step in the right direction. So for me, it's a 6 out of 10. I don't have anything bad to say about it, but it wasn't as like overly amazing either. But it does have enough for us to at least say we're not going to boycott Monday Night Raw. At least it still goes week after week, and we're going to have to do it episode by episode. But as of now, I think we can definitely do at least one more week on the Wrestling Forum with Monday Night Raw. So good enough for me. Anthony, it's yours.
I'll pull the trigger. I'm gonna beat you guys. I'm actually gonna give it the 7 out of 10. I mean, because those two of those in-ring segments. I mean, the opening segment with Heyman, Lesnar, and Big Show, segment of the night, and then second best segment with Kane and Rollins and Stephanie McMahon. I thought those two segments were great. And then the sixth man with the Wyatts and Reigns, Ambrose, and Orton. That was the fight of the night, far and away. And then second best fight, I actually got to give it to the Divas, the six Divas, Team Bad and Team Bella. I mean, I thought that fight was the second best fight of the night. Fantastic action throughout. And then the other matches were just there. And then right around the third and fourth best slots, you would have to say, I'd say the third best fight would probably be Rollins and Kane against the Dudleys, and then rounding out the top four would be Cena and Big E. Although Cena and Ziggler would have been amazing. So that's all I can say on that. Real letdown. But yeah, I mean, the overall body of work I felt was there. I mean, we only had 2 done enhancement fights, so that was it. I'm glad we only got 2 of those. Well, realistically, 1 done enhancement fight, which was Sheamus and Neville, which I still can't get over. And then Sin Cara and Kevin Owens. I mean, only half the one there, but. And then Natalya and Paige. I mean, solid diva fight from those two. So yeah, I mean, based on the body of work of those quality matches and those couple of in-ring segments and the crowd in Boston tonight. So and everything that led up in that 6 diva, stuff. So I might be the generous one here, but I don't care. I'm gonna pull the trigger here and give this show a 7 out of 10. So they save face at least for this week, but hopefully next week when Raw comes to, gentlemen, the IWC capital of the world, Chicago, Illinois, in the Allstate Arena, the Rosemont Horizon. We're gonna have some fun with that, boy. So I can say on that. So that will indeed do it for this edition of the Wrestling Forum. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. Of course, you know how we end it. We're going to end it with our shout-outs. You know how we do it. Bullet, Fletcher, and then it's my turn, and I'll set up the future content and such, and ask for your availability for said future content. So with that said, Michael Bullock, start us off.
Yes, of course. We thank you all so very much for listening to another edition of the Wrestling Forum, and of course, shout-outs to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to support our shows, whether it's this or Strictly Sports. It doesn't matter. And so shout outs to our super fans, Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, Matt Ward, Jason Hicksonbaugh. Shout out to our friends from our high school days, Al Bredderson, Jimmy Alden, Rob Parsons, Eric Carrier, Tom Souza, the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Megan Silva, the First Lady of Strictly Sports, Kaisa Butler, to the Hardcore Pipe Bomb himself, Derek Ferreira. He's been the social media ambassador for Monday Night Football and continuing his success with the sportsblog.com commitments. And trust me, folks, you want to check out some of the things he writes on his sports blog, because it looks great. So yeah, so really got nothing else to say except I'll save the rest of my shout-outs for Friday night for Strictly Sports College Football Friday. So until then, this is the Phenom and the Vice President of the Rhode Island chapter of the Yes Movement, Mike Bullock, saying thank you all so much for listening to us. And of course, you know the routine. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now. Enjoy the rest of your week, and of course, God bless and be good to each other. So, with that being said, Fletcher, your shoutouts.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much for all the great fans out there who basically follows the wrestling forum. You are the best in the world. You already know that. I also want to say a special thank you to my friends from the junior high and high school days. Love you guys as always. To the super fans, you guys already know who you are. 2184 crew, much love to you guys. We'll get to see you guys on Wednesday. Uh, I actually came up across a dirt sheet. Gentlemen, I got some major breaking news that just hit. As many of you know, well, as many of you may not know, the WWE has just announced that on December 13th, the final pay-per-view of the year, which is TLC, is going to be at the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. Now, that's yay for one thing, but listen to this. You can actually get tickets tonight. As a matter of fact, you can get tickets right now by getting this passcode WWE TLC. You can actually go to Ticketmaster.com right now and you can get pre-sale tickets before it goes to public. That's right, folks. Right now, a Wrestling Forum exclusive by going to Ticketmaster.com right now and using the letters WWE TLC, you can actually get tickets right now for TLC's pay-per-view. Now here's the thing. The pre-sale is only for a limited time, so it won't be for a long time. It'll probably be up for maybe a couple of days. So if you want to get it in now, go to Ticketmaster.com and put in the passcode WWE TLC right now, people, because this will not last very long. With that said, I will see you guys on Friday night for Strictly Sports College Football Friday. I am in, and you know the routine. Hug the hand pounds. I'm out. Good night, Anthony. Take it home.
Wow, great information indeed, Michael Fletcher, about the TLC pay-per-view tickets indeed. And I'm very glad to know that you'll be here for what's going to be a most interesting edition of Strictly Sports College Football Friday on Friday night. Michael Bullock, I'm sure we can count you in as well for that show.
Yep.
All right, I just wanted to be sure on that. So, all right. Of course, special shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make the Wrestling Forum and Strictly Sports, whether it's College Football Friday or NFL Saturday, as ridiculously over as they are. We appreciate it as always. Best fans in the world, like Fletch said. Of course, our super fans, we can't forget them. Dee Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, and the entire Woodson family. Matt Ward, Jason Hicksonbaugh, Daniel Luttrell from the UK, Megan Silva, Kaiser Butler, and of course, our high school buddies, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Rob Parsons, and of course, last but certainly not least, our Imperial Grand Poobah himself, the hardcore pipe bomb Derek Ferreira, who continues to impress with his incredible sports blog. I mean, game previews, whether it's game previews in the NFL or college football or the world of soccer if you're into that, previews of UFC fight nights or UFC pay-per-views and such. You name it, he does it. And of course, if he comes across like any dirt sheets regarding professional wrestling, whether it's WWE or TNA and such, he's right on top of it. And he just keeps on doing incredible things with that thing. So it stinks that we don't have him with us, but hey, he's got a dream, man, and that dream is to be a successful writer. And we here, and the three of us here, on behalf of all three of us, I mean, we wish him all the best with that, and we hope all goes well with that. So, so we're gonna keep doing this. We're gonna keep doing. We're not gonna let Derek down, man. I mean, he gave us the keys to the car. You better believe we're gonna take good care of it. So trust us on that. All right. I'll save the rest of my shout-outs for Friday night for College Football Friday. And, of course, future content, College Football Friday. It's here. It'll be here Friday night, 10:30 here, right back here on the Tone 25. And let me tell you, folks, I mean, a lot of great matchups this weekend. And, of course, the two that really stand out to me, of course, the Red River rivalry, Oklahoma and Texas. We're going to break that down. And, of course, a huge game for Fletcher and for Bullock for their Michigan Wolverines, as they're going to be in the Big House at home hosting a very good Northwestern Wildcats team. Oh, you better believe we're going to break down every nook and cranny of that sucker, trust me. And last but certainly not least on College Football Friday, boys, oh, you thought the shakeups we had in the power rankings a couple weeks ago were big? That's nothing compared to the shakeups we are going to have. This will be our most shakeup-ridden power rankings that I can ever remember. They are going to be mass, and I do mean mass shakeups. So Friday night, 10:30. If that doesn't give me any initiative to tune in, I don't know what the hell will. So I hope to see you all here Friday night for College Football Friday. And then, of course, Saturday night, NFL Saturday. We'll see how that goes. And then next Monday Night Wrestling Forum as we break down the Columbus Day edition of Monday Night Raw. Like I said, from the IWC capital of the world, Chicago, Illinois, the Rosemont Horizon, the Allstate Arena. So that will do it for this edition of the Wrestling Forum. So for the Cerebral Viper, Michael Fletcher, and for the Phenom, Michael Bullock, and in spirit, the Hardcore Pipe, I'm Derek Ferreira. It's ridiculously over Anthony Flair here one more time, saying, you know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Have a great rest of the week, everybody. And until Friday night for College Football Friday, you've been watching the Wrestling Forum right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. And for now, Anthony Floyer, so long.